up from opening the box for our birthdays. Even I could dip into this one. But Larissa and Ada, why don't you kick it off? Come on, Larissa and Ada. I know you've both had birthdays. Come on. Come and pick something. Parties are in full flight this weekend. Excellent. Is there anybody who's got something that they would like to share? Thank you very much. Thank you for the offerings. Opportunity. You don't even have to come to the front if you don't want to. Any testimonies, things God has done, answers to prayer? Oh, Sarah's up.
So I have a brother who lives in a place called Orange, which is just inland from Sydney. And they went through a really difficult time last year. One of their youngest son, they've got two sons, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he had some tumours, sort of midsection, mid-chest. He was 14, so he's 15 now. He went through treatment, cancer treatment through Westmead, which was a lot of travel and disruption for them. And not long, and anyway, so he came through the treatment and it was successful, which is awesome. The thing with that kind of cancer is that it can come back, so there's regular scans and things. More recently, my brother lost his job as the place he was working for was small and it went under and he got made redundant. And his wife also was having a few issues at work. But anyway, I spoke to him yesterday, and a recent PET scan for their son showed that he's still cancer-free, which is awesome. And my brother is 2 weeks into a new job, and his wife has also been seconded to another part of her company. So everything is on the up for them, and I'm just so pleased.
Testimony, okay. I have a Jewish person in my life who we often talk about things that overlap our two faiths, and she's someone who's very intellectual and has, if you like, been inoculated against Christianity because she knows a little bit of everything and just hasn't met Jesus. Anyway, we were talking about Passover and we were talking about all of the traditions that she keeps as well as the ones that we keep. And she said she goes to a group that is a little bit like the Quakers, but not, where they just go and all religions can go and they just sit and they wait for God to speak. And so she went to her group and then she messaged me and she said, I don't know what it was, whether it's Easter or whether it's our conversations, but I met Jesus. And she said she was in her group and she had this vision of Jesus. And she said to him, Jesus, I can't talk to you, I'm Jewish. And he said, me too. And then the vision continued, and she said he showed her her whole life, and it sort of spread before her eyes, and he said to her, you've never been able to trust, but you can trust me. And so she, even though she's got all these intellectual arguments against Jesus, encountered Jesus, and I think that was quite exciting, so I just thought I'd share that.
Kia ora koutou. For me, the whole Easter Anzac weekend being bashed together has drawn some real good parallels for me. So we were up on the dawn service, up on the hill, 20 or 30 of us, 40 maybe, celebrating the new life, the new hope as the dawn rose. And then on Friday, walking to the dawn service on the main road where there were 80, 100 people, more, maybe more. And then just the whole parallel of Christ dying, raised, and being rose again for hope and new life for ourselves. And then just seeing the parallel with that we have in our culture of the sacrifice, the death, the dying of people who fought for us, and then yet we have the revelry, the raising again, the hope, we're going forward, and so the soldiers died that we may live. And I just thought that is we're honoured to have that in our culture. The book made a lot of sense to me years and years ago, was Eternity in Our Hearts, which is God has placed markers in our culture, that in all cultures, that reflect him. And I'm just, when people have Easter on their minds, or not on their minds, but they have Anzac, and the parallels that we have that we can bring. So I just was blessed by and encouraged of the hope that is in society, that even though they don't know that they understand the sacrifice of Jesus, we actually celebrate it every year in this country. So yeah, cheers.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh.
I'd just like to add to that, because I too had some special Easter experiences this year, and we went to a Maundy Thursday service on the Thursday night, which the Anglicans keep at the cathedral, and it was very solemn and very wonderful too. And the choirs sang very beautifully and often unaccompanied in the darkened cathedral. And I just found that the one beautiful song that they sang in Latin by the choir just gave me a little glimpse of heaven. And in the midst of all the suffering of Maundy Thursday, there was just a little glimpse of heaven. And then on Sunday morning, first thing at 7 o'clock, we gathered, as Graham said, and Graham led a very lovely service on the hill, and there was just that wonderful experience of a little bit of wind in our faces and gradually the sun coming out, and this wonderful bunch of people from the churches in Titahi Bay gathering together. And I met a couple of couples who have come to Titahi Bay who are going to be working at St Matthew's next door. And there was just a sense of new encouragement and new hope to meet such people. But it was a beautiful, free time. And Max led the singing and Serena with his guitar and the amplifier, which turned up finally. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful, free, beautiful, natural service, followed by breakfast here. So it was a special Easter. Thank you.
Good to hear. Thank you, everybody, for those, those encouragements that God is, we just sang, he's always working, right? He's always stirring something in our spirit, just teaching us and showing us another truth of himself. So true. We have the opportunity now to have John come up and share a little bit about the mission work that he's involved in, and just to cast our thoughts and our hearts a little wider into the world and what's happening. Thanks, John.
Kia ora koutou, good morning. People ask me, well, so who is it you work for? And I think rather than try and describe it, there's a short video which Ian's going to play, which gives a bit of an idea of the group who I do work with. Thanks, Ian, if we can start with that.
Over 3 billion people have never heard about Christ's love for them.